Hi guys, my name is Katherine and welcome back to my channel where I share my life experiences, inspirations, and thoughts with you right here in New York City. So many new friends have subscribed and thank you so much. Today's video I just want to talk about some little tips and tricks and things that I wish I knew before I move out and live alone. Now, a little background story. Growing up, I've always been quite independent. I went to a boarding school since like grade 1 to 4, and for high school I went to Vancouver, Canada. I was living with a host family, but a lot of stuff in life and everything, I have to make decisions for myself, by myself, most of the time. And then fast forward to here, I've lived in New York City on my own without anybody else, not in a dorm, for 2 years. I've gathered a little bit of experience here and there. So the tips that are in this video, I'm just assuming whoever watches this video are like the newest to the experience of living alone and thinking about moving out of their parents' house or whatever. Obviously, some of these tips are probably not gonna apply to everywhere because different states have different regulations on renting and situations. You know, I live in a city, you might, live alone in a suburb. It's just some general tips, and it might involve a little bit related to New York City. And the structure for this video is basically pre-renting to moving and to actually living alone. Each topic kind of has like 5 to 6 tips. So if you want to be a little bit selective on the things that I talk about, whichever one that you're more interested in, you can just click the timestamps down below. But this topic, the first tip I would say is to prioritize what you need in that area. Before you choose your neighborhood, consider what you need on a daily basis the most. Do you want some grocery stores that's close by? Do you want Subway that's close to you? Do you want city bike spots close to you? What is gonna make your life easier before you choose a building or like an area, and what is gonna make your life convenient? You also might be someone who loves running and you have a dog or something. So you might wanna consider some open areas for you to run and, walk your dogs at. And the second tip is that you might need a broker, you might not. But I know a lot of people don't want a broker because they need to pay broker fees. But there are certain situations that the brokers are paid by the buildings. So when they get clients for the building pays them and you don't need to pay anything to the broker. So that is a good thing if you want to save on broker fees, and if you feel skeptical for your first time renting something, signing a lease, you need kind of like someone to kind of escort you. Okay, I'm filming this during sunset, so you guys are gonna see different shadows, different lightings, but I'm feeling this highlighter glow, by the way. And the third tip is to know the difference between gross and net rent. From what I know, renting, so gross is the price that the building set for an apartment. Net is after the deal. So like most of the buildings will give you a deal. If you sign a year lease, we'll give you 2 months free. So for example, your gross rent, which is the original price, is $3,000, and you sign a year lease. So that's 12 times 3,000, which give us $36K. And because you have 2 months free, so that's 14 months that you're gonna be in this apartment. So 36K divided by 14, and we have $2,571. So that is your net rent. And net is basically what you exactly pay every month after including all the free months, all the deals, and everything like that. And yes, you can always negotiate, and you can also ask your broker to negotiate, Don't feel like you have to just set on the price that they give you. You can try asking, can I have the amenity fees for free? Ask for lower rent. Honestly, be confident, at least give it a try. The worst is that they're gonna say no, or they're gonna give you another option for a deal. So why not try it, right? About guarantors, I'm sure it's different in different states, but in New York City is that guarantors are someone who guarantees, who makes sure the rent is gonna be paid. The landlord, they're gonna get their money after the lease is signed. So usually for younger people, if you're just graduating college, or you have a low credit score, if you're like such a newbie when it comes to renting, then you definitely need a guarantor. If your rent is $3,000 and you want to guarantor yourself, then you basically need to make 3,000 times 40 a year. That's literally a big amount of money, and usually for freshly graduated college student, you definitely probably won't have that much money. So then you have 2 options. You can have family, friends, parents to be your guarantor, but for international students, if your parents are not American citizen, it doesn't work. And most of the time, relatives and friends, they probably don't want to shoulder that much responsibility because it's a huge amount of money. What if you just rent off and not pay for the rent? They have to pay for it, which leaves you to the second choice. So there are companies that just does guarantor stuff. Usually the rule is that you pay them a month worth of your fees. So if your rent is $3,000, their fee for you to have this service is $3,000. And last tip for renting is that you might want to do apartment insurance. You don't have to. My last apartment, I don't have that, but this apartment, they were required. But insurance is just monthly fee. Mine for this one is like $9, just to protect you if there's a fire, there's earthquake, there's people breaking in, you know, all the stuff they're gonna cover. So that is something you might want to consider, especially if you live in a walk-up or less safe neighborhood. Like, that is something you definitely want to put in mind. And it's not that expensive comparing to you losing everything, you know? Let's move on to the second section, and the first tip I would give you is that you don't always need moving companies. You know, like if your parents live pretty close to where you're gonna move, definitely ask your parents for help. But if you're on your own, you know, like if you're somewhere in a foreign country, if you're on your own, if you're moving from another state to another state, then definitely look for something called TaskRabbit. I'm not sure everywhere has it, but in New York City, there's a lot of TaskRabbit. So it's an app, and you just go on there and find people that they does kind of like private work. It's a better version of Craigslist, and you can just look up what you want help for. They literally come like plumbing, building your furniture, help you to hang up a painting or whatever, all that handyman stuff. And also you can ask for help moving. Obviously, when I first moved into a new apartment, I probably don't have any furniture. But if you're moving from one to the other, you probably need someone to help you. And that just saves you a lot of money, because if you already have certain furniture and you live in a studio and you want to move to another studio, then it's gonna be $1,000+ for actual moving companies to have like a huge truck and like, I don't know, 3 people to help you. But if you go on TaskRabbit, it could be 1 person, most likely 2 people to help you move, and it's definitely cheaper. And my moving was probably just like $300-400 depending on the hour. If you want to save money and you don't want to give out your money to moving companies, which is definitely ridiculous for $1,000 to move, so you can just go on TaskRabbit. It's like a private service, and also it's just supporting small businesses. There are so many people struggling. Second tip for moving, I wish I knew this, but I just found out when I moved to the second place. There is something called furniture rental. Honestly, that might have existed for a long time, but I just didn't know. The more you live in an area, the more stuff you're gonna hoarder and have. And then when you want to move again, that's a lot of work. So for example, in New York City, there's this app called Feather. I'm sure they have services in different areas. So basically they rent furnitures to you, and you can decide how long you want the period to be. If you're someone who's kind of easily bored of your interior, you can change your furnitures. Or if you just want to save time and energy and money, that you don't want to move all your furnitures, then just rent it. So when you move to a new place, you return the furniture to the furniture rental, and you just don't have a lot of stuff to move, so that it saves you money from moving companies or moving helpers from TaskRabbit as well. So that is definitely something you want to keep in mind if you want to keep your lifestyle simple, you know, and you know that you don't want to have a lot of baggage whenever you move. The third one, honestly, I personally think is a huge tip on moving in. Before you move in, pick up your Wi-Fi router. Some buildings does that for you. I don't know, the universe is challenging me. I have to do everything myself. So before I move to an apartment, I settle on a service. I choose like one of those Wi-Fi companies, and I also ask my building like which service do people use the most, and if there's a deal that a company has made for this building, and if not, then I'll just decide on my own. On the first day I move in or pick up my keys, I can just put the Wi-Fi network in and I don't have to worry. Honestly guys, like, you might not think of this. You move to a new place, you definitely want to feel secure, right? You might not have food, you might not have this and that. Like, you need internet to order food, you need internet to talk to your friend or talk to your family, making sure that you're safe, you got to a new place and everything like that. So internet is so important when you move to a new place. Like, trust me, my first place was rented. I lived without Wi-Fi for like a week, and the building happens to give me literally 0 signal for my regular, you know, data plan. So I was just dying, and I have to always go downstairs to get some data. So definitely, lesson learned, set up your Wi-Fi plan, and just first thing first, when you pick up your keys, go into the apartment and just set up the Wi-Fi. It's definitely a saver, and it just makes everything easier, smoother, you know. And the fourth tip is that when you move in and when you get your keys, make sure to inspect everything on the first day. Take pictures if there's any flaws, the door lock is broken, if there's anything leaking, air conditioning system, your oven lights, your bathroom lights, all that. Make sure that the building knows it's not you, because when you end your lease, they're gonna inspect it again, and they're gonna assume that you broke something and you need to pay for it. That's gonna come from your deposit. Ask the maintenance to fix it ASAP so that you can have a comfortable move-in experience. And if there's anything happen, or when you move out, the building's gonna say, oh, we're gonna charge you for this, then you have the picture to show them that it's already there when you moved in. The last tip is to download some takeout apps. Assuming that you just freshly moved in, you don't have any cookware, you don't have anything, kitchen supply and all that, so definitely have something handy to order you some food so you don't have to go out and get it. So you can just sit at home on your cardboard boxes and order takeout and eat it. That's literally the happiest thing ever after moving. Like, perfect. The last section is gonna be when you actually start to live alone. Number 1, make at least 1 more copy of your keys. First of all, buildings, they might give you 2 keys, they might give you 1 key. But if you lose your key or if you locked yourself out, some buildings requires that you pay them to open the door. Why would you pay $20 to $50 because of a key? Go to Home Depot or just a regular blacksmith to get your keys copied, and give that copy to one of your trustable friends. So that way, when you get locked out, you can just hit up the friend who lives close by, obviously, to give you the key. A perfect example, guys. So I was out and I left my whole purse on an Uber, including my keys. And I remember, oh wait, I have my keys at my friend's place. So if I hit him up, he'll give me the key and I can just go home. So that is literally the perfect example, because my building requires a $50 opening door fee and I am not doing that. And also they charge me extra if I want an extra pair of keys. You can try to ask your building, but sometimes they ask you to pay extra because you live alone, so they obviously will just give you 1 pair of keys. It really depends on the building, but if they ask you to pay for an extra key, that's ridiculous. You literally can pay like, I don't know, $2 to $5 to get the blacksmith just copy your key. And you'll probably think, oh no, I'll never forget my keys. Trust me, you will. You either lock yourself out or you just forget it somewhere. Second tip, Target, Walmart, Home Depot, Container Store, TJ Maxx. All these stores are gonna be your good friends. Especially TJ Maxx, because when I first heard of TJ Maxx, I don't know what it is. Until I go and I was like, oh, so it's like discounted or maybe like off-shelf stuff. And obviously I'm not gonna buy food or skincare there because it might be expired, but there are some like cute finds. They might have some good stuff. You can get your Christmas card there. You can get your soap dispenser. I literally got 2 super great hand soap, are in glass container, and they're like $5. So those small homey things you can definitely get at TJ Maxx. Even hairbrush, like I would get that from TJ Maxx. Like, why do I pay $10 when I can pay $3, you know? That is definitely a great place to shop for basic home stuff. And the third tip is that to always check your fire escape route. I know I literally sound like a middle school teacher, but you need to know. You need to know where the stairs are. And you definitely need to know where to run to when there's a shooting, fire, earthquake, whatever. And obviously, don't run to the escalator. So I don't really talk about this or tell anyone, but the first thing I move in, I kind of like just figure out what's on my floor and like where is everything? You know, I look at the map and see like where is the closest stair, where is the fire extinguisher. So that is something that you might not think of, but definitely need to pay attention. Especially if it's the first time living alone, you definitely want to know something secure just in case things happen. Fourth tip is quite important. It's still personal safety. You need to be careful with your gas switch, okay? I've had a friend, hi if you're watching, I'm not gonna mention her name, but I've had a friend that she accidentally left her gas switch a tad on and her whole apartment smells like gas. I came by one day, it was before the pandemic. I was like, wait, why does it smell like gas? And then we checked her stove, it was on the whole day. And I was like, girl, you could have just died, okay? I don't know if you know this, but if you have your gas on and your windows closed, and if saturated enough gas, you can die. This is literally one of the ways that people who want to suicide use, is that turn on the gas, have everything shut down, and they just get poisoned by gas. And luckily, my friend, she has her window open all the time while she's sleeping. Another thing is that if you have enough gas in the room and you want to light up a candle, or even plug into something into the electric plug, and there's a spark, there's a flame, you can literally light up the whole place. So please, 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 everybody be careful and check your gas all the time. Check the stove, make sure everything's turned to off, because you never know, okay? You never know what's gonna happen. I don't really open my window, so if I accidentally have my gas on and for some reason my smoke alarm don't detect it, guys, I'd be gone. I probably can't even talk to you guys on camera anymore, you know? Probably won't be more video making and stuff like that. Just kidding. But it's such small things in life. When you live alone, there's nobody else to watch you, and you need to watch out for yourself. That's why I want to make this video. And my one last tip is this book. It's called Adulting, and it says how to become a grown-up in 468 easy steps. It's basically a little guidance book for people who's absolutely new to adulting, how to get everything started when you first start moving out and like live by yourself, you know, say bye-bye to your parents. So this is a cute book I bought in high school. Actually, I was just curious about the whole adulting scene. Literally everything about adulting. Honestly, we all make mistakes, we all need to learn, and all the things that I've concluded in this video is something I learned throughout my experience. And I hope this video will just give you guys a little bit step forward when you want to go out and like live by yourself and be independent and stuff. I want you guys to get ahead. I want you guys to not make the mistake I made 2 years ago. I wish I saw this video for myself so that I don't need to make so many mistakes. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and if you like my videos, make sure to subscribe, turn on the notification, follow me on Instagram, and feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.